Good morning, y'all. So I wanted to hop on here while I was making my smoothie and talk about a few things. I've had a few people in my inbox, but I'm not going to be that person that's like, so everybody's been asking me, because not everybody has. But I wanted to get on here and talk about maybe just some things that other people won't or don't want to or aren't willing to, or maybe questions or concerns they have that they're not ready or willing or able to voice. So I'm going to talk about two things. I'm going to talk about why I almost left network marketing, and then also kind of some things I would really love network marketers to consider when it comes to things network marketers do that would never happen in the regular workplace. So couple on with me as I make my smoothie. So I may disappear in and out of frame, but I'm gonna do my best to stay in frame. But let's first talk about why, and you're more than welcome to ask questions. This is definitely Q&A style. If you have any questions or concerns or experiences of your own that you want to share or talk about. So why I almost left network marketing. So I think that the blanket statement for that was I was absolutely burnt out. I was spent, I was drained, I found absolutely zero joy in it anymore, and I was actually starting to become really angry and resentful towards the industry, my team, my leaders, myself, my time, like everything about it. And whenever you start to feel that way, good morning Kayla, good morning Tara, whenever you start to feel that way about something, I think it's really a good indicator that it's time to do some reflection. So for me, it was network marketing. For you, morning Sue Ellen, it might be a relationship. It might be your regular job. It might be something you are volunteering at and you're not entirely sure if you want to keep doing it. So those feelings, don't ignore those feelings and don't invalidate them, and don't think that you just need to work harder or hustle harder or that you're necessarily the problem. I think that there's a healthy balance of understanding what part you play in it and how to fix some of yourself and some of your own character defects, and then maybe what's wrong with the circumstance or environment or whatever the case might be. Like I said, for me, it was network marketing. For you, it might be a relationship or your job or whatever the case might be. Hold on, let me fix that real quick. And so I was really burnt out. Some of you guys have followed me on my journey. You know that I've had immense success. Anyone else hate when this happens in the smoothie? Like I want to shove it down there, but I can't. I've had immense success and I'm incredibly grateful for it. And thank you, Jasmine. And I am so grateful. I am so grateful for the opportunity I've had within network marketing to change my family's life, and I'll always be grateful for that. But I do kind of want to talk a little bit about what my experience has been, why it shaped kind of I would say the new me, but this really isn't the new me. It's maybe new to you, but I really do think that in all of this is not going to work. This is not going to work. Hold on. In all of this, I don't want to say I lost me, but I definitely felt lost and started to kind of become who I felt other people needed me to be in order, good morning Megan, in order for them to find the success that I had told them they could have, because I had it and I had seen other people have it, and I was burning myself out, okay? I also don't do anything half-assed. I commit to things full bore. I go all in. Good morning, Ricky. So after 5 or so years of doing that and doing the most and going hardcore, and I started to really, like I said, harbor a lot of resentment towards, good morning, Deanna, towards everything. I started to notice that I was nasty. I was falling into a deep depression that has a lot to do with my birth control. I had gotten off the Mirena and on the pill, and ladies, you know. And it was just a really hard period of, in my life. And I was going through a lot of this inner turmoil about like who I was, what I wanted to contribute to the world, how I felt like I was not fully fulfilling that, with network marketing alone and with the endeavors that I was going forth in and how I was doing that. And not only that, but this industry is incredibly unique. I think the reason it gets dogged on a lot is because of its uniqueness. It's really not, in a lot of ways, like a normal job. And I'll touch on a few of those points really quick, but you didn't come here to learn about network marketing. So it's really difficult in that you're working with a volunteer army. You're working with people who volunteer to say, I want to work to change my family's life, but then look to you or look to a leader or look to a more experienced person to say, show me the way, teach me, almost like a boss, but you're not a boss. And then you fall into this leadership role because you feel obligated to help them, but then other people may not, including yourself, may not want to take responsibility for the fact that it's their own business. And there's a lot of this conflict that happens between discipline, varying amounts of discipline from other people. You're working with a team dynamic. And again, it's this like community and culture that's formed out of a volunteer army. And you have to somehow, there's no interview process, there's no filtering process like there is with a quote unquote normal job where you can ensure those things. Now, granted, I try to do that, especially now. So it's not like just recruit everybody, anybody, whatever. I hate that mentality. I think that's really old school. I think it's toxic. I think it's not that great. So also I'm out of orange juice this morning and I'm really sad. I'm gonna have to make this with water. And so it really does create a very unique dynamic that a lot of people are not prepared to juggle when they join network marketing, and especially if they have success and become a leader inside network marketing. I don't think a lot of people are prepared for it. I don't think a lot of people are prepared for that switch from seller or promoter or distributor or marketer or whatever, right, to leader. And I really think that in order to have a lot of success inside this industry, you have to be great at both. You have to be a great seller or marketer and a great leader. And a lot of people are either or. So I was ready to hang up my hat. I was ready. I was on a Zoom with some of my really great friends. We were considering leaving this company to go to another. They did end up leaving and they're doing amazing and I love them and support them fully and like blessed, like I hope they have the best. But I left that meeting and just really sat with myself and just thought, it's not even like the company is the problem. The company is not the problem. It's the industry and how I'm showing up in the industry and how I'm showing up according to its standards and what it expects. And I really had to take a step back. And so for 30 days, I basically detoxed from all network marketing stuff. I just sat with myself and I said, is network marketing even something I want to do anymore? Do I even want to represent it? Do I want to, good morning, Charlie. Do I want to still be here? Yes. Would that mean foregoing a six-figure income with this company and everything that I've built and the auto bonus and everything? Mm-hmm. But that's, I guess, how much I was really tired of the things that were happening within my team, above me, below me, beside me, and in general. And that's just full transparency, is that I hated the fact that people are in leadership who are absolutely not qualified to be in leadership, and they're talking to people and about people and training people in ways that I personally don't feel, sorry, like my mom's getting a new dog, so I can see she's sending me pictures. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that people were, including myself, were posting pictures depicting how much freedom they had in their life, but it was just a picture, because as soon as that picture was posted, they'd go back to living on their phone. I was just as guilty of that. I was just as guilty of, because again, it is different than going to a 9-to-5 and being strapped behind a desk and clocking in and clocking out. It is a little bit more freedom. And so you're thinking to yourself, morning, Monica, you're thinking to yourself like, oh my God, look at all this freedom I have. This is so great. This is so awesome. Wow, look at all this freedom. click, and then you post about it. But is it really freedom when you're strapped to your phone at your child's game and you're not fully involved? You're on the phone when they wake up in the morning, when they go to bed, when they ask for a snack, when they want to play a game. Like for me, and I know for a lot of people, that's the case. And so is that truly freedom? And is that the freedom that we want to bring other people on board to? And I think that's partly what's wrong with network marketing, in the sense that, yes, it is a different type of freedom than what a normal 9-to-5 offers, but you're just trading one ball and chain for another. And I didn't want to do that. I had a different focus probably about almost a year ago now, where I just thought I want to truly learn how to make absolutely passive income. And again, that's not because I'm afraid of hard work, right? Hard work and hustle are very different, and I really want to talk about that. Nat says, no, it's not freedom. No, you're right, it's not. And that was for me a long time and was miserable, absolutely. And I was too, and I think that's part of what led to my burnout. And exhaustion and resentment and everything that I harbored against kind of the industry and the team and everything else. And I also think too, it's because a lot of people inside network marketing, because they're recruiting or attracting or building teams of people who have no experience inside marketing or sales or whatever, that we tend to want to make it really, really, really easy and like kindergarten drawn in crayon. And I don't blame them, and I don't blame me, and I don't blame other people, because it's like you want to make it approachable and you want to help people get gas money and grocery money and stuff, but it's also silly to assume that they're going to be able to build a really lucrative business or do things like that without some hard work, without some focus, without some knowledge around modern marketing practices, without understanding how to do some of these things that do require a little bit of tech, that do require a little bit of forethought and knowledge. It's silly to assume that. Hold on, I'm gonna get some water. So, and I don't know. I just think that's something that is really lacking inside this industry, and I didn't like that. And I was kind of ready to leave. Michelle says, that's what my goal is: passive income. I know what I want to do. It's just a mixture of bad time. Yep, absolutely. Smidge of fear and bad timing. And so that's why I almost left. I almost left because I said, screw this. The industry is never changing. It's infuriating me. I don't like it. And I thought to myself, sorry, my frozen fruit is like competing with my blade and it doesn't want to screw down. And it was really, I was just really having this identity crisis as a business person. Thinking to myself, am I really serving people the best that I possibly can this way? And so I took a break. I took a break for 30 days and I just said, I'm not going to touch anything network marketing. I left all of my groups, all of my chats. I didn't really I talked to my team on a friend basis because I am friends with a lot of people on my team, but I left all my chats, everything. And I was just kind of like, I need to fully detox and see if this is for me. And during that time, I really fully, truly discovered who I am, what I love, what I want to do, my vision, my mission. And that is really truly to help women and primarily mothers understand how to take what they know and create an income online that's truly passive so they can live a present life with their family and their children and, and themselves. And you can use network marketing to do that. But my goal is to shift and change how we do that. And I know that Courtney Rogers is not going to change the whole network marketing industry, but you can dang well be sure, my mom's calling me because of the puppy. You can dang well be sure that Courtney Rogers is going to make sure that we do things differently on this team and in this company that I'm representing and talking with and showcasing and whatever. And so I decided that I'm going to lead first with the things that really fulfill me and bring me joy. And that includes leaving behind the toxic environment and the toxic culture of hustle, number one. And number two, the culture and identity of this mean girl kind of community that can be built. And that leads me into my next point of things that would never happen in like the real world, in a real work environment that happen here. For example, when somebody left, so I was a clinician at a group home, in a social work setting back up in Maine, let's just use that as an example, or where you work, or at McDonald's or Walmart or wherever, right? When somebody leaves, does your company host a Zoom, or does your boss or manager host a Zoom where you just have to trash that person? Or where you have to somehow get on this mutual agreement that like, we're all not gonna like this person, we're all gonna block them on Facebook, we're all going to talk smack, we're all going to say how, oh, it's not a we're gonna trash their character to make ourselves feel better? I don't think that we would. We never did. And we had crazy staff turnover at that previous place that I worked, and we never did that. We never did that. As a manager, as a supervisor, as an administrator, I never held a Zoom or a meeting where we talked poorly about the person who left as a means of degrading their character to the people who remained so that they wouldn't leave either. The way I look at it is it's almost like a marriage, right? Like, if my husband is so easy to take that I need to like protect it, then have him, right? Like, good morning, Sabrina. If my team members and the people who are in my community are so easily swayed, like I'm so lacking confidence in the community I've built with them and in the leadership I've provided for them and in their security here with the company and team, then I'm not scared you're gonna take them from me, right? So if you're so scared that someone who left is going to take them, that you have to hold an emergency meeting to trash talk that person to convince other people to stay, then maybe you need to reevaluate your leadership and management and whatever, because that's deep-seated insecurity around the community that you've built. If you are so scared that they can be that easily taken, right? Same thing like with your marriage. If I am so insecure in my marriage that I am scared at every turn that the next woman my husband sees is going to take him from me, then my problem is not with those women. My problem is within my own marriage, right? My problem is within that. So that's number one. That would never happen in a normal job. In a normal job, it would never happen that when somebody leaves or decides they need to move on or decides they need a pay increase or something else, or their passions are leading them elsewhere, never in a million years would it happen in a normal job. I'm sure there's exceptions, but would it happen where there's some emergency meeting where we need to now trash talk that person and degrade their character as a means of making us feel better, or as a means of convincing the people who remain to stay and why they need to, or whatever. Also, just the crazy hustle culture. And here's the thing, I've gotten a lot of flack or feedback or questions around the hustle thing. I'm not against hustle. I'm not against working really hard and having sprints of time in my life where I need to make things happen. I'm not against that. What I am against, and what I think is where it crosses the line of toxicity, is when it's constant. It's a state of being. It's like a marathon and you feel like you have to sprint the whole thing. You're not going to be able to. At some point, you will collapse from exhaustion. At some point, it'll cross the line of being bad. At some point, you're gonna go from sprinting to stopping, because there's no consistency. So hustle crosses that line into toxicity when it is a constant state of being. And it's something you have to be in all the time, whether it's network marketing, your normal job, whatever. If circumstances have it so that you are in hustle mode 24/7 from the moment you wake up until the moment you go to bed, that is toxic. And when it crosses that line, you need to evaluate your life, your circumstances, your presence, what you're doing, your attention, your focus, and you need to be more mindful and you need to kind of evaluate those things. That's what I had to do, because what I was doing was I wanted those things in my life so bad. I wanted that financial flexibility. I wanted the freedom. I wanted the money. I wanted the bonuses. I wanted all these things that I just hustled my butt off to get them. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when I personally look back, I wonder, was it worth the sacrifice? Was it worth not paying attention to my kids? Was it worth ignoring my husband? Was it worth missing out on family events? Was it worth walking out on movies to attend Zoom calls? Was it worth game nights with my family where I was behind my phone and not really paying attention. Was it worth all of those things? I don't know. Yes, I made multiple six figures, but I lost time I'll never get back. So I don't know. I'm in that war of constantly like, yes, because I hustled, it enabled me to take the break I needed from exhaustion. But if I didn't hustle, would I have even needed that break to begin with? I don't know. We'll never know, right? But that's where that toxic hustle culture comes in. And also this toxic hustle, which is why I almost left, and what I think is really wrong with it that's not necessarily present in other jobs, although it is fairly present, is that the more that you do and the faster you go and your pace is validated and edified more than your progress. And so it makes people feel like what they're doing or how they're showing up isn't good enough because it's not as fast as the other person. It's not as big as the other person. So that's where it kind of crosses that line. When it is taking from you things that you can never get back, like your time, your energy, your headspace, your mental health, your sanity, it's crossing a line. And you need to really evaluate. So for me, I wasn't living a present life. I wasn't living an intentional life with myself, my husband, my children. And to some extent, I was kind of becoming a different person or a different version of myself. It was still me, but it was the version of me I believed I needed to showcase more of because it validated the things that I was doing and what people wanted to see more of. So I've use those 30 days to give myself permission to define success in the way that success means more to me, not the way that success is defined in the world or by other people. So if you're working a normal job, if you're a stay-at-home mom, if you're in network marketing, whatever, I think this applies as a blanket statement, but you need to really focus on what success means to you, not what you think success looks like or what success wears or what success owns or what success buys, right? So I always thought to myself, okay, well, in order to really showcase and validate the success that I'm having, I need to live this kind of life so that people believe me, right? So I need to get the expensive fancy car. I need to buy the big, $750,000 home. I need to get the Louis Vuitton. I need to wear the expensive pantsuits. I need to get the branding shoots. I need to get all of these things to look more professional, to validate the success that I'm having. And in some way, I think a lot of us devalue what we've been able to accomplish in our lives or what we want to accomplish because it doesn't look like and it doesn't fit in the pretty package that society has said, this is what success looks like, right? Especially as women have a very finely tuned, pretty package box of what success looks like, and you have to kind of fit in that. And if you don't, then you must not be successful, right? So you're not successful if you are a stay-at-home, homeschooling, homesteading, homemade bread making, or RV living person, right? Those things innately in our brains go, they must not have a lot of money. Right? Why do we do that as a society? Someone who chooses to grow their own garden instead of go to the grocery store, someone who makes their own bread, someone who lives in an RV instead of a $500,000 home, somebody who chooses to pay for everything in cash, or does like the Dave Ramsey stuff or whatever, like someone who is very frugal and watches their money is somehow not as wealthy as this other person or not as successful, or someone who consigns or thrifts or whatever. We innately in our brain just kind of go, oh, they must be poor, or they must not have enough money, or again, we devalue their success or we devalue their wealth. And that's a societal thing, that's an American thing. And anyway, I was afraid to do that because I was afraid that if I wore thrifted clothes that I like, if I grew my own, food, if I homesteaded, if I homeschooled, if I did all those things, when I showed people, hey, this is what I've been able to make here in this business, like this is what I've been able to create and I want to help other people, they look at my life and go, if that were true, you wouldn't be living in an RV. If that were true, you wouldn't be making your own bread. If that were true, blah, 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 right? And so to some extent, you kind of put aside that person that you really want to be and instead become this person that you feel like other people expect you to be or need you to be. And I also felt that way as a leader. Like I felt like I kind of needed to show up in this specific way as a leader to help people live the life that I had in a sense promised them. So that's something that I feel like most people necessarily don't have to do in a normal job, because once you clock out, like you're done. Like that facade is like you're good now. You can go live your normal life. When you're a network marketer, your job is your life. It's who you go to bed at night with. It's how you wake up. It's how you go get your morning coffee. It's what you post online. It's what you say in your DMs. It's everything, right? It's almost like being a politician where like there's no time off. There is no downtime. There's no off time. Everything is being looked at. Everything is being judged, and everything is kind of being used as this way of validating your success or what you say or what you do. Like you're constantly under a microscope. And I understand why, because a lot of this industry is incredibly deceitful. A lot of this industry has really crappy people in it. I always tell people it's kind of like religion, where like there's nothing wrong with the God, there's everything wrong with the people. So it's not necessarily that there's something wrong with the industry, although there are some companies that operate really well, but there's innately nothing wrong with the industry, but it's everything wrong with the people and everything wrong with how the people do it. And the culture, the community, the team atmosphere, the lack of understanding that people had as network marketers to actually show up as business owners, as marketers, really bothered me. It really bothered me that they still, and it still does to an extent, that people want to show up as everyday regular Joe Schmoes and not evolve into business people, not grow into and learn and educate themselves around modern marketing practices, how to evolve as a business person, investing, LLCing, finance, all these things that normal business owners have to do. That whole ignorance on fire thing, I'm like, I can only get down with that so much. Because at some point, to me, you have to evolve into an actual business person. And I feel like not teaching that and not educating other people about that, by also not educating yourself on that, you're doing an incredible disservice to the people that you're bringing into this business, because you're just telling them, yeah, you can just live your life and people will be knocking down your door for this product, which is a outright lie. It is so not the truth, especially with how the world online and how the online business building landscape is changing so rapidly. Like, for those of you guys who know, like, we're at critical mass where as long as it took us to get here to the peak, it takes you like 3 times as fast to be able to, it's almost like the iPhone, right? It took us like 10 years to get from iPhone 1 to iPhone 2. And then once we got to critical mass, it was like we came out with like 10 in like half that time. So it takes you half as long to get somewhere that took you twice as long to get to. We're there right now, right? We are there with the online landscape. It is so easy for people to make money online now. Whereas before, network marketing was kind of like your foot in the door, and was a great way for the everyday average person to start building online. Now it's actually the more complicated option, because there's so many other easy ways. And part of why I almost left was the refusal that a lot of people in this industry have to grow with that evolution and to hop on that train and to kind of perpetuate this continual toxic mentality of like, just show up more, just hustle harder, just do this, just do that, to basically sprint your marathon and that pace over progress. And that is why I needed to step back and really reevaluate if this is even something I wanted to do. So I certainly didn't want to go start over new somewhere, because that would take away from the life I was trying to create here, this like slower paced, more intentional life, because I would be in straight hustle mode building brand new from scratch. So I didn't want to do that. And so I decided to sit with myself and just say, Courtney, what is it that you want? What legacy do you want to leave? What impact do you want to make? And what changes do you want to make? Because it starts with you. And it's a little ripple effect. I may not change the network. I know I won't change the network marketing industry, but I can at least change the community of people that I impact. I can at least help them to become true entrepreneurs and understand how to launch businesses and how to create multiple streams of income and how to build a brand that is authentic to themselves, that puts people first over profit, that really does kind of build up who they are and authenticate and validate the gifts that they have been given, and they can share those with the world. And in turn, they learn all these necessary skills they need to be successful in network marketing. So it's kind of like a win-win, as opposed to taking the everyday average person and be like, I'm gonna turn you into a network marketer. And and essentially you just replicate the poor toxic hustle that's really perpetuated inside of this industry, that burns a lot of people out and turns a lot of people into super anti-MLM, understandably, people who get this misunderstanding of what the industry is because of, again, the people. The people are what make the industry really horrible, not the actual model itself. And so we just need to do better. And I really just think that as people, one of the things that we need to do is really, one, give ourselves permission to redefine success in what it means for us. What does success look like for you? And for me, success is driven by joy and fulfillment. I think ultimately we equate success with what we have and what we've created versus how we feel about it, right? That's success versus fulfillment. So for me, I've really shifted into chasing fulfillment rather than success, because I feel like when you find fulfillment in what you do, it inherently holds that success for you, as opposed to when you chase empty success and doesn't have fulfillment. That's where burnout lives, and that's where a lot of that resentment can kind of harbor, which is the camp I was living in for a really long time. And also this community where we're all best friends and go girl, rooting you on, love you so much, whole heart. And then the moment that they decide that they need something different, you write them off completely. You have to degrade their character. You have to tear them down. You have to somehow make them seem lesser than, because you are operating out of this scarcity mindset that you're going to lose everything you've built because you're super insecure about the culture and the community that you have created or not created here. And you feel like you need to be really scrappy about how you protect it. And again, just kind of making sure that you are operating out of a space of wholesomeness. And what I mean wholesomeness as in like whole, completeness. You need to make sure that you are fixing yourself and always working on yourself and operating from this sense of how can I be better and how can I pursue things that fulfill me and how can I show other people how to do the same thing. Because when you are operating out of this strict business mentality, again, we can't do that here in network marketing because it's so unique. It's such a unique industry. You can't clock in, turn the business mindset on, and then clock out and then turn it off. It's on all the time, or it's you have to find a blend, not a balance, a blend, because it really truly is who you are day in, day out, when you wake up, when you go to sleep, everything. And so you have to find that perfect blend of business and life and success and fulfillment. And, you know, I really just do think that we as people can really shift how the network marketing industry is perceived, and we can preserve a lot of really, really good people who have incredible dreams that can use this vehicle to get where they need to go if we equip them properly and we really focus on putting the person first over profit, and stop hustling for ranks and stop hustling for bonuses and stop hustling for all those things that are really quick fixes, as opposed to really creating this more sustainable business model and this sustainable pace. Because I really do think that's where a lot of people get lost, even the best of them, right? Even the top ranks, the millionaires, the six-figure earners, whatever, they're leaving companies left and right because of how it affects them personally. So if you're not taking care of yourself personally, if you're not taking care of your people personally, or you're not creating an environment where they can take care of themselves personally, then you're doing them a disservice and you are inherently sabotaging your business. And I was that person for a really long time. Because of how I tied my worth to my success was really what polluted the environment for myself and for my team. You know, a lot of us believe how busy we are, how productive we are, what we can show for our life, what we are doing, and the pace at which we're going is an outward validation of our worth. So you as a person feel more worthy when you're hustling, when you're always busy, when you're always doing something, and you feel less worthy when you're resting and going slow and seeking fulfillment. So you have to do a lot of the inward work, but you have to not only do that for yourself, but when you do it for yourself, you create a safer space for your team to be able to do that as well. Because if not, then the culture begins to build itself. So you always want to be, I hate saying in control, but you always want to be, to an extent, in control of the culture that you're building. You always want to be aware. You want to be aware of the culture that you are building, and you want to do it intentionally. You don't want the culture to build itself accidentally, because it will become something you don't want it to be. So you want to build your culture intentionally, and part of that means creating that space for yourself to define success and what it looks like for you, to allow yourself the space that you need to create fulfillment and joy in your business, and to pursue the things that bring you that joy. Because when you do that, you create the space and the permission your team needs to be able to do that as well. So because I was constantly showing up in my business, doing the most, hustle, always showing up, never a day off, go, my team felt pressured to do the same thing, and they were innately burning out. And they were, understandably resenting me. And then because they were resenting me and not showing up in their business because they were burning out, I was resenting them because I had created a life where my paycheck depended on how I showed up, but also how they showed up. And that is a really tough spot to put yourself and your team. And so that's why I also try to help my team understand, and other women outside of the network marketing industry understand, having multiple streams of income, because that's a lot of pressure. That is a lot of pressure to put on yourself and on your team, to be like, you need to show up because I need to pay my bills. Like, that turns people into scrappy individuals. I've been there. I've been on the receiving end of it. I've been amidst it. And you always want to be able to create other streams of income, so you relieve that pressure from yourself and you relieve that pressure from your team to show up, to pay your electricity, to put food in your kids' mouths. Like, that's hard. That's hard. And that's a lot of pressure on a team and an environment and a culture that you're trying to create out of a space of positivity. And so this has gone on way longer, and my smoothie is starting to turn into cement right here. I haven't wanted to turn it on because it'll be really loud. So I guess in closing, that is why I almost left network marketing. Yes, as a top leader. Yes, as a 6-figure earner. I did almost walk away because it is just that important. Taking care of yourself, not burning out, not adhering to the typical societal network marketing rules of hustle till you die, sacrifice everything now so you can live the life you want later. It is 100% possible to do both right now. It is 100% possible to enjoy your life and be present in your life and build a successful business in the process. You don't have to choose. There is no balance. It's about blending, which hopefully I'm about to do in a minute. And that has to do with leveraging systems and resources at your disposal. And if you have questions about that, you can feel free to reach out to me. But if you need help with figuring out, I don't know how to do that, reach out and I'll try to let you know what I know. But so for those who were watching, for those who thought I was leaving and decided to talk smack, and for those who really thought I was leaving and were embracing me with open arms and whatever, I want to let you know that I still truly appreciate you and I love you, and I support everybody who was on my team who left to find something a little bit better, who stayed because of what they made here. I truly respect and love each and every one of you guys, and thank you guys for being patient and understanding. I had a lot of you guys reach out to me and be like, are you leaving? Are you still with Lavelle? Like, what's happening? What's going on? So thank you so much for checking in. But I'm not leaving, I'm staying here. What I created here is just a little bit too important, and I don't want to say I don't love network marketing enough to go to another company, but I don't love the hustle enough to go to another company. So I'm going to nurture and take care of what I have here. I'm going to help women grow as entrepreneurs, as network marketers. I am going to help change the industry one person at a time. And if I don't like something about it, I'm going to be the change that I want to see. And I really hope that it encourages other people to do better and give themselves permission to break away from the norms that have been created in this industry and in this little microcosm of a society that we've created. To give yourself permission that if something doesn't feel right, if something doesn't feel good, you don't have to do it. You can rebel and you can do what makes you feel really good, and you can chase your fulfillment instead of success. You can chase, creating a culture of diversity and inclusivity, as opposed to one that is, really built on profit only and go and hustle and draining you dry. Pursue things that feel really good. You'll know what that looks like and feels like. And if you don't have the luxury of having a team like that, you can create it, you can start it, you can learn from and attach to other people in your life who are pursuing those same things, link arms together and grow and learn. And I hope you guys have an amazing Saturday. I am going to blend up my smoothie and hope that I can get this off the bottom because it's been sitting here for like 20 minutes. So I love you guys, and thank you guys so much for being so supportive and patient with me over these last few months. I know a lot of people have been really confused about what's happening in my life and like, who are you? But a lot of the results or a lot of the comments and stuff has been really positive. I guess it's really speaking to a lot of you. So I'm really touched by that. And I hope you guys have an amazing Saturday and spend it with your family, doing things that you love and giving yourself permission to chase those dreams at your own pace. So love you guys.